This happens to everybody. When you're working a job and then you kind of hit a ceiling and you know you're not going to get any more money, but you're working your butt off and the owner just figures, well, he's not going anywhere. We'll just pay him what he's paying. And that was that. So when I was at TechCom, my first pro audio selling job, I had started like making, I think it was like 150 or $200 a week, and then plus commissions, which was 10% of the profit. And even, when I start selling to Jazzy Jeff and, into the, big clients and that, it just wasn't a lot of money. And I think I got it up to $500 a week and plus my commissions, but still wasn't making enough. And everybody, all the sales reps that came in, they knew that I was moving a lot of product, but I wasn't making enough money. That 10% and that salary just wasn't cutting it. And, and I watched the owners with their new BMW and the other one had a new Porsche. I bought myself a Fiero, that I got used that, wasn't the best thought in the world because I didn't have a lot of room to put things in, but I kept on taking the passenger seat out to put gear in there to take places. But anyways, I start putting feelers out to see if other stores were interested in hiring me, and everybody was interested. So there was a store in Trenton, New Jersey called Russo's, and I went there and visited a few times, and it was a big, beautiful store. They had mostly guitars and but it was high end kind of guitars and MI musical instruments. But they had a kind of a pro audio department that was doing okay, but not great. And I knew if I got in there, I could do killer business. So I met with the owners. It was Mrs. Russo, and talked to her a few times, and she was very interested in how hiring me. And I remember the last interview I did, I had sold a Otari DDR-10 to a radio station in Washington, D.C. So I had to go from Philly down to Washington, D.C., set it up, train the people. And then when I was done that, I had to drive all the way up to Trenton to do like the last interview with Mrs. Russo. So I did all that, met with her, went through everything. And she was real happy. She said, this will work out great. And I was going to make more money. And I was going, this is good. So then she gave me a call and she said, yeah, we're going to have to pass on you. And I was like, I was just curious. I go, well, what's the reasoning, politely as I could. And what the reasoning was, and this is bizarre, all the other salesmen got together and they said, if you hire him, we're going to quit because, we don't want him working here. And then I eventually found out that they were scared to death that I was going to take all the sales and these other guys wouldn't have any sales. So, I lost out on that job. And there was another job that a place called George's Music, and it's in this area, in the Pennsylvania area. And I met with George, who was this little guy, and we had a bunch of meetings, and he wanted to give me like a whole part of the showroom and have my own offices and bring people in. And he showed me he had this book on how he ran the company. He was all proud of himself. And I go, oh, this is all great. And, I told him how much, I wanted. And he said, oh, that's great. And, it went on. And he just interviewed me for hours and hours. I mean, I'm not exaggerating, 6 hours or so. He asked me a million questions. And what eventually it all boiled down to is he wanted to give me a corner in an office someplace, and I could run, what I was going to do out of there. And what he was offering me wasn't what he initially said he was going to offer me. So basically, he just picked my brain forever. Last time I saw him was at a NAMM show, and he, you meet people sometimes that they just don't understand. It's inappropriate to ask a bunch of questions. And he just kept on asking questions, and I kept on politely trying to answer them without offending anybody. But he didn't feel like he was offending me, and he just kept on asking. But bottom line, he just wanted to know how I did business and how I could keep doing the business that I was doing. So in the end, I stayed at TechCom to the very end. TechCom eventually went out of business in 92, I think. Uh, the owner told me that the sheriff's department was going to be coming in and confiscating everything. So I finished up all my sales. Anybody who had a deposit on anything, I waited until their product came in. And then I took the product as soon as it came in, ran it out and put it in my car just to make sure that the sheriff's department didn't come in and confiscate something that was paid for. And then when the person came in, I just gave it to him. And so as soon as I had everybody's deposits for things that were on order, all taken care of, I told the owner I have to resign because I can't sell to people knowing that they're going to lose their money on ordering something. And they said okay. And in the end, they owed me about $500. And to this day, they never paid me. And to me, $500 was, a huge amount of money. But the owner, he's talked to me a few times. He wanted to work with me. I know I'm rambling on, but I'll stop. But he wanted to work with me, and I just basically told him, I can't have anything to do with that company. But there you go. So the whole story is about getting a job at other places and then what you have to go through. And you have to be careful. Some people, they want to pick your brains. Some people, they're afraid of their employees. But in the end, everything worked out for me. I just moved on from there and started my own company.